All right, so my name is Wally Suarez, and this is the second time that I've done Rope Youth. Just kind of give you a little background about myself. I'm from El Paso, Texas. Grew up on the northeast side of town. Right after high school, went to the prison system for 18 years, and did that for a good long while before I decided to come to Oldfield for about 10 years. I've been out here 10 years now. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself, and you're going to tell me who you are, how old you are, and why you're here. And then we're going to get into this little spill real quick. I'm going to start with you. You say Caitlin? Caitlin, okay.
Yeah, I'm here for community service.
What did you do to get into community service?
Criminal trespassing.
You break into something? Or just basically walk into somewhere you weren't supposed to be? Okay, you?
Actually, I came before and then can't say because their cases are still pending.
Okay, that's fine. Well, just give me your name and just give me your name and how old you are.
My name is Dylan. I'm 17.
My name is Diana, I'm 17.
My name is Antonio, I'm 15.
My name is Jalen, 13. I'm here.
I'm 13. I'm Eduardo and I'm 14.
Theo and I'm 14.
Jesus and I'm 16.
Kamari and I'm 13.
Jaden, I'm 16.
Young. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about something, man. I know that you probably hear a lot of people telling you certain things that, you know, what you shouldn't do and what you should do and all this other stuff. But I'm going to tell y'all that the route you're going into, man, if you're going to continue to get in trouble, it's not going to end you up in a good place. How many of y'all is this your first time getting in trouble? How many times? Second? Third? Fourth? Fifth? So the reason why I asked that question, man, is because if this is your first time here, second time here, third time here, it really don't matter. You still have enough time in your life to make a change. You gotta change for the better, because I'm gonna tell you right now that right now you may think it's cool and you may think it's all right to be out there and hanging out with people who think they cool too. But I guarantee you this, if you end up in a juvenile detention facility and that's gonna lead you to the penitentiary, I'm gonna guarantee you're gonna be all alone. You're gonna be all by yourself. And ain't nobody gonna be looking out for you but you. And if you think you that bad, you think you that tough, believe me, there's gonna be somebody big like me that's gonna be a lot better than you. When it comes to throwing hands and when it comes to trying to protect you, it's not gonna work. I'm telling you that from experience. 18 years in the penitentiary, and I went to 11 different prisons, including death row, for 2 years. And I'm gonna tell you something, that I've seen the worst homicides, the worst suicides, the worst extortions, rapes, you name it, I've seen it. And it started from people who were young like y'all, who didn't want to listen to parents or didn't want to listen to family members and didn't want to listen to people, counselors, and people trying to tell you that you need to do right. And I'm gonna tell you something, that 9 times out of 10, those people, when they got locked up, there wasn't no mommy and daddy no more. There wasn't no mom and dad putting money in their books. There wasn't no homeboys writing them. There wasn't no homeboys putting money in their books. Because once you're gone, you're gone. How many of y'all involved in gangs? You can be honest about it. It ain't like you got a rival up in here, nothing like that. How many of y'all in the gang? Nobody? Well, that's good. I don't believe y'all, but that's good if you don't want to raise your hand. And not saying that I'm a gang-related person, because I'm not, but I'm going to tell you something, that there's about 125 different gangs inside the penitentiaries in Texas. And believe me when I tell you that some of those things are built like armies. They got so many people that you wouldn't even know who's who. Some of them are tatted up, and the tattoos literally tell you who they are and what they stand for and what gang they represent, and some of them ain't even got one tattoo on their body. And that's the individual you got to worry about, because that's the man who's going to come get you when you're sleeping, or get you when you're in the shower butt naked, or get you when you're on the toilet. So think about the decisions you're making right now, because that's where it's going to lead you if you continue on the same path. I see you got an ankle monitor. Like, man, that's a tracking device. They know your every move, right? It's a horrible feeling, ain't it? You miss your freedom. Think about it. Think about that freedom you had before that, when you didn't have a curfew, when you have like limitations of where you can go. and just make a better decision. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man, that, you know, the people you hang out with are the people who will probably influence you to think that doing what you're doing is cool. Whether it's smoking weed, whether it's fighting, whether it's, you know, criminal trespass, breaking into stuff, stealing stuff, whatever it is you did that ended you up in here, you probably had a bad influence, and you probably went along with it thinking it was cool. I'm guaranteeing you guys right now from experience that it's not cool. I've seen individuals who just drank too much and got 5 years in prison, didn't last 2 before they were killed by somebody, and didn't even deserve to be in that kind of prison because all they had was a drinking problem. They weren't gang related, they weren't murderers, they weren't rapists, they weren't child molesters, they were none of that. All they did was catch three or more DWIs and ended up in a maximum security prison, and somebody didn't like them for whatever reason and took a blade to them and cut them up nice. And that's it. Somebody who had a 5-year sentence that only had to do 2.5 because it was non-aggravated ended up not going home. And that could be anybody in this room. So think about the decisions you're making. For those of you guys, it's your first time, I hope to God you don't come back. You have a choice. The choices you make right now is what's going to impact your future, is what's going to impact your family, it's going to impact people who actually care about you. Some of y'all may think nobody cares about you, but all these people in the room do. Because I could have been at home enjoying my family time, and I'm here talking to y'all. Why? Because, like I said, I've seen it. I've been in those penitentiaries, seen young people like you who decide that running with the gang is a decision they're going to make. That's the route they're going to take. Think about the clothes on your back right now, the shoes on your feet. You know, I see you all starched up and everything. Dressed like you're cool, but when you go to the penitentiary, you're wearing all white. And guess what? About 1,000 other people wore that uniform before you had to get it. No jewelry, no nothing. You're not going to wear none of that. When you get in there, the first thing they do is shave your head. Clean shave your face, and then take a picture of you. And put that mugshot all over the state of Texas. And everybody's going to know why you're there, what your number is, and that's what you become. You become a number for the state. You no longer have an identity. So when you say your name, all that get erases. All it does is go away. Only time they're going to use your name is the day you escape or try to do something stupid, because they're going to put you on blast. So everybody in the state of Texas knows exactly what you did. And that's when your name shows up. But while you're in the prison system, while you're in the system, you're only a number. You don't matter to nobody. Don't nobody care about you. The more people that the state houses, the more money they make. So that's why there's prisons. That's why there's prisons everywhere you look. That's why there's county jails. Some counties got more than one. Why? Because the state makes money off people who want to continue to break the law, who want to continue to make bad decisions and victimize other people, bully people, steal from people, kill people, rape people, murder people, whatever it is. That's why they have all these facilities like that. Because the more people that they house, the more money they make. It's a business. They're making a business off people who can't make the right decision. But you guys can stop that process. You just have to make the right decision. You got to think about who you're hanging out with. You know, for those of you guys that are in here for fighting, man, if you like to fight, get paid for fighting. Go train to fight. Go do some organized training. Go to a gym. Learn how to organize box. Or learn how to organize MMA fighting. Some of those people that are in the UFC and are professional fighters are millionaires because of the talent that they were blessed with. Did they use it in the street? Probably, at some point. But you know what they decided to do? Do exactly that. Get a coach, go to the gym, and invest in themselves. And what did they do? They learned how to fight. They learned how to be better. They learned how to be professionals at it. They used it as a sport. Now they have businesses. And now they're millionaires because they know how to throw hands. Or they know how to ground and pound, or whatever you want to call it. So use it for that. You know, there's a lot of different things that you guys are blessed with as far as talents. Use it. I can tell you this, that I've seen individuals in the prison system. Matter of fact, this little badge on my keychain right here, an inmate made it. Another inmate who was really good with his hands and doing metal work made this badge for me right before I left the prison system. And I got about 12 of them. There's the most talented individuals that are inside penitentiaries that can draw, that are tattoo artists, that are just very, very good, that can do all kinds of stuff. There's people in there that can play basketball better than people I've seen in the NBA. And where they at? In the penitentiary. Why? Because of stupid decisions. Wasted talent. That's exactly what the state considers them. Wasted talent, because they're in there and they can't do nothing with that stuff but use it inside there. That man didn't make no money off the 12 keychains that I have. All it did was all the money that I paid for these things, all it did was buy the supplies for him to use it. But he didn't make no money off of it. That's not how they run the business in there. The state makes the money off of it. They just bring him the supplies and say, here, I'm gonna give you this. Here's this man's order, build it, and then go back to the cell. All they're trying to do is keep his head out the game, keep his mind busy, so he's not creating any issues. So if you're not involved in any kind of sports or any kind of team-related activities, you probably should think about getting involved, because it'll keep you out of trouble. And it'll teach you some discipline. It'll teach you what it is to follow instructions, to have some structure in your life, and to do something better about yourself. Because being in here is not the answer. You're losing all your freedom by making bad decisions, hanging out with bad people, hanging out with people who truly don't give a shit about you. Because if they truly cared about you, they wouldn't have led you in the wrong direction. Especially for those of you guys that did something with a group of people or did something with friends. All it's going to do is end you up in the county jail, and guess where they're going to be? That's probably the person who snitched on you. Think about that. When someone gets in trouble and their hands are tied behind their back with handcuffs, 9 times out of 10, they're going to sing like birds, and they're going to say, you were involved too. Ain't nobody going to take a charge for you. Ain't nobody ever going to say, I don't know who he is. The way the jail system runs, they catch 2 of y'all, they're going to catch the one that looks scared the most and pull him aside and say, you'll get less time if you tell me who that other guy is and what he do. And all he heard was less time. Oh, this is his name, this is what he did, and we did it together, and guess what? I'm free like a bird, and guess who gets the higher charge? You. Because someone else pointed the finger at you. And then when you get in there, like I said, once you're inside them walls, 9 times out of 10, your parents are going to give up on you. Your parents are only going to withhold so much. Believe me, I've seen it. I've seen mothers and fathers and girlfriends and wives show up to visitations on the weekends and go talk to convicts and ask them when they're going to do better, ask them when they're going to seek God, ask them when they're going to make a change in their life, and everybody's like, I'm going to do better, I'm going to do better, this is my last time. No, it ain't. Because as soon as they get out, what do? Go right back to the same crowd that got them in there the first time. So if you're involved in something right now that you know you can get out of it. If you're involved with people that are getting you in trouble, stay away from those people. I'm going to tell you a saying that I was told a long time ago. You hang out with shit long enough, you're going to start to smell like it. And that's a God's honest truth. And you'll learn this as you get older. If you want to be successful in life, you have to hang out with successful people. And if you think that misery loves company, it spits it right here in this room. Every one of y'all look miserable. Not one of y'all look happy. But you made these choices, right? Right? Pretty much y'all made the decision you made to be here, correct? Make better decisions. That's all it takes. There's no mistakes. There's decisions. Even in the world of law enforcement right now, you guys live out here in Midland, Odessa, right? How many accidents you hear about every day on the streets? Vehicle accidents. Hear a lot of them, right? You know they don't call them accidents anymore? They call them bad driving decisions. Because 9 times out of 10, there's somebody on a motorcycle hauling butt, going over 100 miles an hour, and smashes into a car. Or there's truckers out here driving while on their cell phones. Is that an accident or is that a decision? It's a decision, right? Y'all see it. I'm sure you guys are in your vehicles with your moms or your parents or friends, and what do you see people doing? On their phone while driving. But if they smack into you and they take your life, was that an accident or was that the decision on their part? It's a decision. Is it worth it? You got your attention, big man? Is it a decision? So make better decisions, right? Because I can tell you this, that making a mistake is common. Everyone makes mistakes in life. You know what changes it to a different perception is when you keep doing it. It's no longer a mistake. That's when it becomes a decision. You guys are all young, so yes, everyone in this room has made a bad decision, and you can say it was a mistake, but if you repeat the behavior over and over and over again, it's no longer a mistake. It's not an accident. That's who you want to be. That's who you are, because you're making decisions based on whatever it is you think that is going to come out of. But every single choice you make in life has a consequence, especially if you're making a bad decision. Every single one has a consequence. So I can tell you something, that consequence can end up being dead or in the penitentiary. How many of y'all feel like you have a good family backing behind you? Raise your hand if you got good parents or you got good family behind you. You don't think so? Why don't you raise your hand? Did you? The reason why I asked that question is because every single one of y'all got shoes on, got clothes on, whether it's name brand, all pressed up, got some nice kicks over here. Every single one of y'all got somebody who's paying for that. They're working hard to provide the clothing on your back. I'm a parent. You know what I tell my kids? I don't know you shit. I don't know you nothing. My job as your father is to make sure that you don't end up in places like this. My job as your father is to make sure that you don't make stupid decisions, you don't hang out with the wrong people. Because believe me, if I ever see my kids hanging out with people who dress like they're little gangsters or they want to act like they're little gangsters, they get removed out that situation real quick. Real quick. You know why? Because I'm involved. And I'm never going to let my kids make that bad decision. Now, they do it past they're 18. When they're out of my house, that's on them. They're adults at that point. But while their ages of 14 and 9, where they're at right now in life, I make those decisions. And I decide what they wear. They don't get to pick their clothes. I decide it. But if they do good in school, yeah, they get Jordans, they get nice clothes, but only because they're doing good. But they already know as soon as they fail a class or as soon as they make a mistake or they do something that's really stupid, as easy as I give it, as easy as I take it. Everything I give is a privilege. I don't owe them anything. I don't have to give them anything. There ain't no law in the world that says that your parents have to buy you Jordans, that your parents have to buy you nice shoes, your parents have to buy you nice clothing, name brand clothing. There ain't no law that says your parents got to do it. If they're doing it for you, it's because they love you. And they want you to be able to express yourself however you want to express yourself, and they want you to be able to dress how you want to dress and wear your hairstyle the way you want to wear your hairstyle. When I was growing up, there wasn't no hairstyle. My father was in the military, and guess what? Had a military-style haircut. It was clean faded and edged up, but it was high and tight. I looked like a Marine since I was 8 years old, all the way until I decided to shave my head. Because I didn't make that decision. My parents made those decisions. And you know what? It got me to where I'm at today. I'm very successful. I have 2 houses. I have a Cadillac Escalade and a BMW X7 and 2 motorcycles that are ready for show. And one of my houses that I live in is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath. You can make the right choice. I grew up in the projects, grew up in the hood. Don't mistake my tattoos for me being a thug, because I'm not. Never been involved in gangs, never done anything stupid in life. I chose sports over the party life. I chose to be an athlete and use my talent to get me out of the game, to get me away from those people. And that's exactly the choices I made. I made that choice. Did I get jumped? Did I get into fights? Absolutely. I did. I'm not going to sit here and say I did not. I did. I grew up in a very bad neighborhood. And if you don't know much about Northeast El Paso, look it up when you get a chance. When you get your phones back in your hand, just look it up. And look how rough that neighborhood was between the 80s and the 90s. Very rough neighborhood, gang infested, drug infested, drive-by shootings all the time. Young people your age, high school kids getting killed all the time, getting stabbed, getting jumped in the parks, just for walking home wearing the wrong pair of shoes because they were the wrong color and you were in the wrong hood. That's where I grew up. But I decided, you know what? Those little couple of getting jumped in the park and little fights here and there, that don't dictate who I am. That don't dictate who I'm going to become in life. I made that choice. Stay away from those people, play football, play baseball, play basketball, do whatever I had to do to stay away from those individuals. I wanted to stay with like-minded people, people who had goals to be in the NBA, people who had goals to be in the NFL, people who had goals to be in the Major League Baseball League. And guess what? Several of the people that I hung out with made it to that level. Only reason I didn't make it to that level is because I was told, you pass, you play. So my decision was, do the bare minimum in class. As long as I'm passing with a 70 or above, they're going to put me on that field. And they did exactly that. Do I regret that? Absolutely. Because for all I know, I could have been in the Major League Baseball League because I was that good. I played AAA ball, played professional ball in the Mexican League, played professional ball in the Puerto Rican League. But at the end of the day, that didn't make me no $1 million. Not like it would in major leagues had I been having the right mindset, had my parents told me, hey, you have to have a good grade point average. You have to have all A's or you have to have all B's if you want to get to that next level. There's no college and there's no sports team that's going to invest in you unless you have that GPA. No one told me that. I had to find that out the hard way. But I didn't let that stop me. I didn't let that turn me into a bad individual. I didn't let that turn me into go hang out with the wrong crowd. I used that by going into law enforcement. Started a career right out of high school, 18 years old, walking into the first prison I ever walked into, and learned a lot about life. Because walking into that penitentiary and seeing how nasty those showers were, and seeing the fact that 6 toilets were right next to each other, and 6 grown-ass men had to sit right next to each other and take a shit, no privacy walls, no nothing. That right there humbled me and let me know this is not where I want to be. The women penitentiary is the same thing. 12 shower heads all the way around. And you walk in there, you take off everything. And there's other grown women looking at you just like the men. Bunch of naked grown men taking a shower at the same time because you only got 1 hour to do it. And there's 50 people in one dorm. All 50 have 1 hour to take a shower. Imagine how that process goes. And just community toilets when you don't know how other people's hygiene are. Now imagine all 12 of y'all being housed in the same exact room, half the size of this, and being told you're going to live here for 6 months. How many of y'all think you can do it? It's going to be pretty frustrating, right? Absolutely, because do you know him? Do you know his hygiene? Not at all, right? Y'all don't know each other. That's exactly what prison's like. It's locking a bunch of individuals from different cities in the state of Texas and putting them in dormitories and telling them, this is where you live now. These are your roommates. Get along, however it takes. And they throw you in there. And that's it. So think about it like this. You house 50 grown men in the same area. You think everybody gets along? No, not at all. You know why? Because then they start to talk, start to realize certain people from different gangs, different neighborhoods, and they start finding out what they did to get locked up, and that's where it kicks off. Same thing with the women, 50 women. And then, of course, 50 women, especially when they are in a cycle, it don't look too good in there. It looks bad. And then men that have poor hygiene, or guys that just don't, they're too scared to shower. Imagine how that individual smells when he hits about 30 days in there, and he's too scared to take off his clothes, he's scared of getting raped. So he'd rather just not shower. There's people like that out there. So your decisions can end you up in a place like that if you don't change what you guys are doing right now. Think about those things, man. I'm not here to tell you what you're not going to do, what you don't need to do. You're grown, right? Every one of y'all in here think y'all grown. 12, 13, whatever, but you think you're grown, you think you're cool. I guarantee you, when you go to that level, it'll humble you. It'll make you regret the decisions you're making in life. It'll make you regret the people you hang out with. Not one individual that I went to high school with or that I went to middle school with do I keep in touch with right now. And I say that because most people think that friends are a big thing. I got to keep my friends. These are my friends. These are my brothers. These are this. These are that. No, they're not. No, they are not. Several of those guys that I played football with, several of the guys that I played sports with ended up in the penitentiary. And guess who got to see them walk off the bus? Me. Same people that had the talent to go to the NFL, had the talent to go to the NBA, and then here they are walking off a prison bus, and I'm the one there to greet them. Horrible feeling because I knew the talent that they had. I saw it. I played on the field with those guys, but they made stupid decisions. They still hung out with the gangsters. They still thought they were Bloods and Crips and gangster disciples and, Mexican mafia and all these little gangs and stuff that they hung out with back in high school and, decided to get involved with those people. Then they ended up getting locked up and threw their whole entire life away. Don't throw your life away, man. It's not worth it. There's a lot of money to be made in this world. A lot of money to be made. And you can actually have that because it's not like you guys are felons right now. Hopefully none of y'all become felons. Because I can tell you this, what I do for a living right now, my job title is the Regional Rescue Manager for a company called American Safety. So I run rescue teams out of Texas and New Mexico. And we rescue people out of confined spaces, tunnels, tanks, whatever they decide to go into. My job is to get them out, to rescue them. So I'm like emergency responder for the oil field, basically. And I make a pretty good amount of money. Not going to tell you guys how much, but I told you what I own. Got to make good money to have that. I'm blessed. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best, because I'm not. There's somebody out there better than me. There's teams out there that are better than mine. But I'm blessed, and I don't take it for granted. Because working in those penitentiaries, and I made some bad decisions when I was y'all's age. Where my blessing was, I didn't get caught. But the decision I made, the choice that I made was never to do it again. Because the fear of getting caught was there. And whatever the consequences were going to be is what made me happy to be who I am now, because when I walked into those penitentiaries and saw the way those guys had to live, especially going to death row, when those guys are in those little cells, 10 by 10, a little box, it's like a human kennel. How many of y'all got dogs that live in kennels? Think about that if you had to sit in there for 23 hours out of the day. That's what those prisons are like. Those guys are considered so violent because of one decision that they called capital murder. So some of y'all may think that, man, I'll kill this dude or whatever. You might even say that. But the day you execute that, you'll spend the rest of your life in a box. And you'll be in a human kennel for the rest of your life. That's why a lot of people commit suicide, because they can't handle the pressure. But when you're out in the world, you thought it was cool. So why even risk it? Think about what I said. Your decisions right now have consequences if they're bad decisions. But you can also make a right decision and go the right route. How many of y'all go to church? None of y'all on this table go to church? Y'all believe in God? You pray? I can tell you something, man, whether you believe or not, praying is the right route to go. Praying to get you out of some things. Guarantee that. But you have to have faith. You got to know that if you're praying for something, if you're praying for God to change your situation, He can change it. Believe me, He can change it. I've changed my whole life after I gave my life to God. And that man has made me very successful and very blessed to be able to enjoy the things that I have in life. Because I put my faith in that man, and I've asked to be taken out of certain situations. Hell, I knew 18 years into the penitentiary, I was one step away from being a warden. That was my initial goal, was to be a warden of a prison. But when I saw how it more violent and more violent and more violent, and policies were changing and it got more political where the inmates had more rights than I did, at that point I knew it was time to get out. What'd I do? I prayed. Give me something better. If this ain't my calling, give me something better. And I had faith that something better was going to come along the way. Didn't happen overnight, but hey, 10 years in the game, and I run the whole state of Texas and the whole state of New Mexico for my company. I would say that's pretty damn good in 10 years. I started from the bottom and I worked my way up and I learned this industry. I learned this oil and gas industry that they have out here, and it blessed me. And it wasn't because of me, because I had my faith in God, because I prayed about it. And I continue to pray about it, and I continue to thank that man every single day for waking up. Because I could be in the same position. I could be an ex-felon. I could be on an ankle monitor. I can be on probation. I can be on parole. I can be all those things. But I made the right choice. And you guys have that opportunity too. If your parents are telling you to make the right decision and change your life and pick better people, do it. Do it. Believe me, your parents are not steering y'all in the wrong direction. They're telling you these things because if your parents are my age or have been there, done that, they're telling you for your own good. They're telling you because they love you. But if you're defiant against your parents, that's who you're going to lean to whenever you get in trouble. How many of y'all got dropped off here by your parents? Anybody had to walk here? You had to walk here? How far you live? That pretty far from here? No, not too far? But you got some nice kicks on your feet. So obviously your parents love you. So think about it, guys. Think about it. I guarantee you, if you were to go to county jail right now, you would not walk out with those on. You wouldn't walk out with those on. You wouldn't walk out with them jeans on. They'll take it from you. Those dudes will look at you, and they're gonna want them for their own good, and they'll take it from you. And if you think you can beat somebody my size, it ain't happening. You don't have the strength yet. You haven't matured to that level yet. It took me a long time. I was 19 when I got my first assault by an inmate, and I weighed about 180 pounds, fresh out of high school, baseball player, skinny and thin, and I thought I knew it all. Thought I was cool. I was making good money for an 18-year-old. Nope, that convict put his hands on me, and that was a wrap. Changed my whole life. And I took my life into martial arts. I took my life into defensive tactics training and to get bigger in the gym, because I swore to myself I will never get whooped like that again. And it never happened again, to this day. Not saying I'm better than everybody, not saying I'm the best. There's somebody out there that could probably whoop me, but there ain't too many men out here that'll try. And I don't do this because of any other reason than to, number one, protect myself for my future, but also for my kids. Because I got 2 little girls, and I will protect those little girls to the death of mine. That make sense? I'm sure your parents feel the same about y'all. They love you guys. They want to see you be better. They want to see you succeed in life. Nobody's parents wants to see their kid go to jail or go to prison. I'm sure every one of your parents stressed out because you're in this position right now, right or wrong. How many got yelled at when you got in trouble? All of y'all, pretty much, right? I'm sure your parents were pretty disappointed in the decision that y'all made that put you here, right? Think about that. Do your parents truly owe you something? Do you feel like your parents owe you anything? Do you? You? They don't. Your parents don't owe you a thing. There is nothing in life that says that your parents owe you anything. Nothing. Your parents give it to you out of love and because they care for you. And they want to see you do good. They want to make you happy. You're their kid. You're their seed. You're their blood. They want to see you happy. Some parents take a different approach. I already told you the approach I take on my kids. But you know what? My daughters both got straight A's. You know why? Because they know that if they do straight A's, they get to keep what they got. But they also get to request something out of that when report cards come out. And I make the money, so I give it to them. But it's like on a lease. Because as soon as you mess it up, it's gone. I'll garage sell it quick. Or I'll put it on Facebook Marketplace and let somebody else be blessed with it. That's how quick about it I am. Because I don't owe nothing. But what I do give them, the shelter, the food, the clothing, all those things, I do that out of love. I do that out of care. But as soon as they mess that up, and they think they're too cool, well, go out there by yourself and see if you can survive without me. And see how that works out for you. Where are they going to end up? Here. So if you still have those parents that support you, that love you, that are trying for you, man, give them the same respect back. When I was 12 years old, I didn't have no damn cell phone. Hell, I didn't get a cell phone until I turned 18. Straight up, I bought my own cell phone when I got out of the prison academy and finally got my first paycheck. It was when I first bought a cell phone. I thought I was cool when I had a pager. And y'all all here with cell phones. Probably got a better phone than I got. Do your parents owe you a cell phone? They pay the monthly bill on it too, right? How many of y'all got a job? How many of y'all make money on your own? Where you work at? Fazoli's? Oh yeah. You? There you go. That's good. That's good. I can honestly say one thing, man. I love Chick-fil-A. I ain't never had bad service in my life. Well, you here, so obviously you probably got the bad service, man. How you like your job? It makes money, right? It's good for the time being. You're making money for the time being, right? That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. That teaches you responsibility. Your parents make you pay for anything with your money? There you go. Good. What about you? Good. Good. Well, see, y'all already making good decisions. So did you make a mistake or did you make a bad decision? What about you? Just own it. Accept the responsibility of it, own it, and change it. I guarantee you, man, this job is temporary. You know what I mean? You get out of high school, you go on to bigger and better things. There's a lot of money to be made out here, man. This oil and gas industry ain't going nowhere, and you guys are in the right place to do it. There's so many people that come to Midland College. There's so many people that go to OC, UTPB, and become petroleum engineers or mechanical engineers. And right out of school, they already got 6 figures being offered them to get a job out here. Right out of college. You guys can do the same exact thing and make a lot of money. Make a good living out here. But you made one bad decision, don't let it dictate who you are. Don't let it identify you as a person. If you made a bad decision, own it. Tell your parents you're sorry. An apology goes a long way. But an apology ain't worth a shit if you don't change your behavior. You change your behavior and you go in a different direction, I guarantee you, you'll be blessed. But put your faith in God. Listen to your families. Listen to your parents. Listen to that guidance. And man, I'm telling you, it'll bless your life. But you got to make that decision. You made a bad decision now. Now it's time to turn around and make a good decision. I guarantee you guys will change your life and you'll make a lot more money. You'll be happy. Your parents will be happy. They'll see you succeed and you'll be on a better route. And if you got to cut people off along the way, cut them off. They're not going to be there for you anyway. And they're not going to pay your bills. They're not going to be the one to buy you the shoes. They're not going to be the one to get you a little fresh haircut. It's not your friends that do that for you. It's your folks that are doing that for you. Your parents are making y'all look the way you want to look, letting you get the haircuts and the shoes and the clothes and everything else. Your parents do that for you. So why not? Why not make a right decision and change it and go the right route instead of making the bad decision and ended up here, and then after this it just gets worse. And believe me, it gets a lot more violent. It gets a lot more dangerous and a lot more life-risking. It's not worth it. What's worth it is thinking about your folks, making good decisions, putting your faith in God, and then from there you'll excel in life. Anybody have any questions for me? Does everybody in here believe in God? All of y'all? Y'all good if we pray? All right, let me get y'all to bow your heads. Lord, we thank you for this day. Lord, I ask that you bless these young individuals in this room. I ask that you forgive them for their decisions, forgive them for their mistakes. I ask that you bless their families, bless their homes. I ask for your presence in their lives and their hearts to change their minds, change their direction, change the bad influences in their life, and bless them with your Holy Spirit. I ask that you bless their futures, their health, their education, future careers, and overall bless their lives as they move forward in life, and pray that they make the right decisions and move forward with faith in you. In your mighty name we pray, amen.